Hey guys, what's up? Tax here. Today we are here with round 8 of the Go-Karting Championship. Massive thank you to everyone that tunes into this series every single month. It gets a lot of reception, which I'm really thankful about. And yeah, we're here with round 8. We are well and truly into the second half of the season now. After this event, only 4 more rounds to take part in. And here we are with qualifying with round 8. So a quick story, a brief explanation about what's going on here. Only 3 people taking part in qualifying. 4 people only doing 2 races, so the 4 people that don't do qualifying will just be starting at the back of the grid. So basically on the left hand side of your screen you've got Ben, on the right hand side of your screen you've got my dad, and basically it's Will's last time most likely going to be taking part in these races, so me and him decided to start at the back of the field. We're going to be starting in 6th and 7th places, and then we also got James and Will's dad, which are taking part in the races as well, but not in qualifying, so they'll be starting in 4th and 5th place. So anyway, we're here to talk about qualifying, so let's get you up to date with all the sort of driver colours. So basically you got my dad in the blue and white helmet, the blue overalls and white helmet with the black stripe on his overalls. You got Ben in the red helmet and red overalls. You got Jobe in black helmet and black overalls. You got me in blue helmet, blue overalls, but obviously I'm not in qualifying. Will in blue overalls and white helmet, but doesn't have the black stripe, so you'll be able to tell the difference between him and my dad. You got Will's dad, who's got black overalls and a black and white helmet, and I can't remember what James was wearing now in terms of the sort of suit and everything, but I think he was wearing black overalls and I think a black helmet. But I'll point you out to him in the race, and you can see there my dad's already made a mistake. He went extremely wide up at the hairpin and very slow to get back around. So hopefully that's updated you with all of the driver colours and everything. Sorry it changes, week in, week out, or month in, month out I should say, but basically, you just go there and you just pick up some overalls if you don't have them yourself. So that's a bit unfortunate because it means that each week each month, not each week, it's different colours and everything for you guys to learn. But hopefully you guys understand. I'll talk about it in the race, so you'll get used to it. But so on the left hand side of your screen, you're watching Ben trying to chase down Jobe. I think they realised that they saw my dad drop back so quickly that it was between them two for pole position, and basically Ben is the only one here not to a pole position if I'm correct. No, Jobe hasn't got one either, so that's embarrassing. So Jobe and Ben, neither of them have got a pole position, so they were looking at both of them getting their first pole position and those 5 extra points to come with it. My dad has actually already got 2 pole positions, and in the pole position sort of race, if you will, because there is a little sort of extra award for most pole positions in this championship, like a little trophy at the end of the season, which I might actually do a video about that on my second channel, showing you guys all the trophies, because I thought that was pretty cool. But we'll see. Let me know if you want to see a video like that on my second channel, just showing you what all the trophies looks like. So yeah, there's an extra trophy for most pole positions, and at the moment going into this round I've got 3 pole positions, Will's got 1 and my dad's got 2. Obviously that is only 6 pole positions in 7 rounds before this, because first round didn't have a pole position, it was just a straight out 30-minute race, so no points were awarded for that. So you can see Ben has definitely closed up to the back of Jobe here. He's trying to get past him, and talking to Ben in the car on the way to the race, he was talking to me about this very thing, that Jobe does not like to concede a position even if it's qualifying, and it's entitled to him to do so. And Ben, maybe if he'd wanted to get the fastest time here, maybe he should have dropped back a little bit instead of just following Jobe. But who knows, maybe it just gives that extra incentive to just try and chase him down every little time he loses a bit of ground. So, but it was incredibly close between these two. As you can see, Ben's not gaining a huge amount, but then sometimes Jobe just can pull away a good second or so in like 1 or 2 laps. So very close these two in terms of pace, and it's definitely something interesting to be watching out for here, as it's pretty much a race in qualifying. And Ben, as I said, was talking about it in the car. He said that he doesn't really like doing these he doesn't really want to get involved in a race in qualifying, but that's exactly what he did. Maybe if he'd really wanted to not get involved in this, he would have sort of backed off. But I think the fact that he wanted to have that pride of actually beating Jobe, because he wanted to be able to show that he was ahead of Jobe in the qualifying, not just maybe in times but also in position. But Jobe definitely looking for those 5 extra points, because in the championship going to this round it's very close between Ben and Jobe. They are separated by 7 points. Quick math. Yeah, 7 points between them two going into this round. And obviously, if Ben got pole, that would put him only 2 points behind Jobe. And if Jobe got pole, that would definitely, extend his lead to 12 points over Ben there, and close up to me in the championship as well, and also my dad. So you can see here Ben very close, maybe carrying a bit too much speed through the corner and slightly losing it. But look at this, how close it is, how dedicated both Jobe and Ben are on keeping it on the right lines. And Jobe was defending. You can see that he wasn't taking the optimal line, he was taking a slightly defensive line. So I think in Jobe's mind as well, he never likes to come second, even if it's maybe even if he gets the fastest time, he would rather maybe come first in this sort of qualifying. He'd rather be in front and get second place on the grid than get pole. I don't know, but I think that's just how Jobe works. He wants to stay in front and just show what he's like in terms of racecraft as well. So Jobe definitely doing a good job of closing off Ben here. Oh, it looks very close here. Jobe going for the defensive move, and you can see Ben shaking his head there. Ben was not appreciating that move by Jobe, and you can see there Ben looking over at my dad, who has lost quite a bit of time here. You can see the Kart, if you look on my dad's side of the screen, on the right side there, it's just handling horribly. You can just see the Kart is just not responding very well to how he's manoeuvring it. So it's really not a nice Kart to drive by the looks of it there. So that's just how it is, really. I mean, I've had a couple of terrible karts this season, and pretty much everyone has. Everyone, it's just a random pick, isn't it? So pretty much everyone gets some bad ones, everyone gets some average and good ones. So that's just how it works. And unfortunately for my dad this time, it looks like he's got a bad kart. But Ben once again looking down the inside, but doesn't really have the momentum to get past Jobe there. And as we're probably about 6 minutes or so into this qualifying session now, Ben should either be thinking about making a decisive move or trying to back off here, because Jobe is definitely trying to just not let him past here. So I think the better thing to do is, you can hear Ben's maybe I think he was shouting, as you can see him, or we could hear him through the helmet there, not appreciating what Jobe was doing. So I think, in all honesty, this would be the time for Ben to just back off. He knows he's probably only got about 5 laps after this to make a good amount of time, maybe get the pole position. So yeah, maybe not the best for Ben to be sticking up behind Jobe here, but he's made a slight mistake there, which will open up the gap and maybe give him the chance of going for the pole. So interesting qualifying so far. Ben has now got a little bit of a gap, so this can be the time for him to pounce and get that pole position lap time, those 5 extra points. We'll see really if we catches up to Jobe here, whether he has got the raw speed to beat Jobe in a one-on-one race here. So we'll see. With that, my dad, unfortunately for him, just losing time hand over fist here, and he's just dropping backwards in terms of where he'll start on the grid, which is probably most likely 3rd now. And also the fact that he will have, he even says himself, he has bad starts all the time, just like me actually. So who knows where he'll end up after turn 1, but let's just hope for him that he gets a decent start for once. And unfortunately, with a kart with a pretty small engine, which these are, if you weigh quite a lot or you're quite tall, obviously me and my dad are pretty tall, so it's hard to get that weight off the line, and that's a bit annoying, but it means that's just a disadvantage. But it also does mean in the wet weather conditions, it's sort of, I'd say, not as bad. The wet weather conditions normally act as a equaliser in a way, so I think my dad's actually very good in the wet conditions around here at Filching Manor. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of rounds. Obviously we're getting towards the end of the year, we're sort of coming towards the end of the summer, so who knows whether we're going to end up getting a couple of wet races before the end of the year. And I think it'll be interesting to see whether my dad can capitalise on those wet races when they do come about. So we are coming to the last probably 1.5 minutes of qualifying here, and it looks like Ben has caught up to the back of Jobe here, but Jobe is not going to be letting him through. There is no way that Jobe will just let him through here, because Jobe, we all know, is an ultra attacking driver. He does defend obviously, but he attacks all the time. He doesn't want to concede any positions, and that's just how Jobe races, and it's obviously lent himself to a good position in the championship now, 3rd position in the championship. He's competed in 1 more round than Ben and has 7 more points. So you'd say if Ben and Jobe had done the same amount of races, that Ben probably would be in front. But you can see by this that, by the looks of it, it's pretty even between Ben and Jobe in this round, and it's going to be very interesting to see which one of them comes out top in qualifying here. Ben makes a slight mistake, ruins his line through the top couple of corners there, which isn't too good. My dad still going round. He hasn't lost a huge amount of time, I'll tell you that, over the last couple of laps, but who knows what the qualifying times will be. We'll see obviously in about a minute's time when everyone has stopped going around the track. So there we are, there's Ben trying to find one last way around Jobe. He's very, very close now. He's in the slipstream as well. It might only make a minuscule difference, but the slipstream is there because obviously he's forcing the air out of the way for Ben, and Ben can just carry the speed through the up the straight and doesn't need to be pushing out the air in that way. So is there going to be a last minute move from Ben? Jobe's going ultra defensive. Ooh, Ben messes it up. That's it for Ben, I'd say, for keeping ahead on the road, not keeping ahead on the road, staying ahead on the road. I think that is it for qualifying. That, I think, was the last lap. Could be wrong, but I don't know. Yeah, that's the last lap, and you'll see when they come around the corner here that is that. Not sure if they got the checker flag there. I couldn't see from my little monitor here, but they're also being sent back to the pit lane here. So that is it for qualifying. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and we'll be looking at the results in any second now, just because that was such a close qualifying there, and I can't actually believe that Ben didn't get past because he carried so much more speed, but just somehow didn't manage to get past Jobe there. So let's have a look at the results right now. And yeah, it's Ben. He's got his first pole position of the season. He told me going into this round he'd have loved to get a pole, especially with only 3 people qualifying. That's exactly what he did, so he gets pole position. Jobe ended up second, only a couple of tenths behind my dad, about 8 tenths of a second back. Then you got the people that did not qualify. So here we are, race number 1, and as my dad said, he didn't really want the camera, so I had the camera. So here we are. On the left hand side of your screen you've got Ben, on the right hand side of your screen you've got me, and you can see, oh, there's James in front of me there. So he hasn't got the black overalls and black helmet, which I said. He's got blue overalls, and is that a black and white helmet? I can't really see. Is it a silver and black helmet? Can't really see from my little monitor here, so I'm sorry about that, but yeah, you can see him. He's got a slightly different overalls. Jobe flying through there. He doesn't really care about slowing down, and Ben will be coming past my screen as well any second now, and there he is going to shot, and he's slotting into pole position exactly where he wants to start this race from, and getting pushed back into position there. He's still slightly out of position there, so that's not too good, but here we are. Any second now the race will be underway. Lights out and away we go for round 8, race number 1. And a pretty bad start from myself, a pretty decent start from Ben, but Joe just gets the better start as we go down to turn 1. Ben brakes incredibly late, gets past Jobe. I managed to dive it down to the inside of everyone and make up a couple of positions, going side by side with Will. Managed to get past him, and now I'm up behind Will's dad. I'm going to find a position. No, Will goes past on the inside. He's going to look for a position down the inside of his dad now. Doesn't quite work. This side by side action. Oh, is he going to squeeze him into the grass? Hopping over the curb there. Now I dive it down the inside of Will. Grab back that position. Ben still leads. Getting into the slipstream of Will's dad there. Will's dad cuts off Will. Managed to get back down the inside of Will. Already a lot of action here as Will has much more straight line speed. So he goes to the outside. He doesn't try and look to the inside. And I just throw it up the inside there. Braking incredibly late. Get back to position. Try and go side by side. Not quite there. Will's dad made a slight mistake crashing into the tyre walls there, and I go try and go side by side with Will's dad. There wasn't enough space there, but we still managed to go side by side. There's a tiny bit of contact, and Will and Jobe are just flying away. Will goes down the inside, slight bit of contact there. Maybe a little bit of an optimistic move from Will, but he managed to get the move done. And now I'm going to just duck into his slipstream. I don't know why, but I'm very slow in a straight line. You're going to see that immediately now. Even in the slipstream, I'm going to lose a huge amount of time. We just get to sort of the last quarter of the straight, and Will goes for a move down the inside of his dad, but he can't quite get it done. Can he? Yes, he can. He's going to get the move back. No, Will's dad managed to get back through, and now Will's going to try and go side by side once again, trying to go to the outside. We're back down the inside of Will, and it's exactly what we do. We move up. No, we don't, because Will has the move down the inside. And Will's dad goes incredibly wide there, and Will moves up into P4 there, and I'm going to try and follow him through up into P5. That's exactly what I do. Will slightly slides out there, and I'm going to try and keep in the slipstream there. And am I going to manage to make a move down the inside? I'm looking to the inside. I'm going to brake incredibly late, get a little bit sideways in the braking zone, but Will managed to get the cut back, and he manages to make the position back up. And now he's P4, I'm P5. Ben is still leading from Jobe. My dad is still ended up in third here. So now is a fight for fourth position here. I'm trying to make a move on Will, but I know my straight line speed is really bad. So I'm going to try and get a move down the inside, but no, that is not going to be working out there. Just trying to keep in the slipstream now as I just make my way down the straight, but it looks like now Will has made enough of an advantage for me to not be able to overtake into the braking zone. Oh, it gets quite close actually. Will makes a slight mistake, but managed to keep through the corners. I make a mistake hitting the tyre wall there. So that's that. It's all sort of equaled out a little bit now. The gaps are widening up, and Ben leads from Jobe. My dad is in third, Will's in fourth, I'm in fifth, Will's dad is in sixth, and James currently in seventh. So, a very lively start to the first round of round 8, but very interesting stuff to go, obviously, as Will is making his way up through the order. You can see on my screen there, he's trying to make a move on my dad, and managed to get down the inside there as my dad made a slight mistake, and I do exactly the same thing. Managed to get the move done on my dad, and sweep into the corner there, and up into P4. Will, even though he started 6th, starts incredibly each and every time, and has managed to get up to 3rd place. But he's got a pretty big gap, about 8 seconds to bridge to get up to Jobe. And yeah, I started 7th and managed to make my way up to 4th, so it's still a pretty good start from me as well. Both of us gaining a decent amount of positions, but yeah, a pretty big gap for Will to bridge. Jobe and Ben definitely making great starts of the first couple of laps there, and meaning they have a huge gap really, and it's going to be very hard for Will to bridge that gap unless they have traffic. So we'll see what happens with that. But on Ben's side of the screen, he's obviously trying to defend from Jobe, as obviously takes a bit of a defensive line through there. So nearing the halfway point in this race, there isn't a substantial amount of change from the first couple of laps really. Most of the decision making was made in the first couple of laps. Most of the positions were made in the first couple of laps. So yep, it's been a couple of changes and stuff, but there really hasn't been a huge amount of overtaking since lap sort of 3 onwards. So definitely Will's looking at trying to get possibly the 3rd win in a row, but Ben is definitely looking to get another win. Jobe definitely looking to get another win. So the top 3 definitely look it's going to be quite close, because Will is closing out quite a substantial amount, even though there is no traffic yet. But I think you could just see there, Ben's side of the screen, that there is traffic coming, so we'll be watching out that and seeing if Ben does catch this traffic, which could mean he would obviously get held up behind them most likely, at least for a couple of corners, which would probably mean that Jobe has a good attack and maybe Will closes up straight away. But Ben knows that Jobe is right behind him, because you can see he's taking a very defensive line, and if we compare that to sort of the line I'm taking up to this top corner, it is very, very different. I put it in the middle of the road, then bring it out wide here, so very different line to what Ben's taking. Could be possibly down to the kart handling as well. Maybe Ben's kart has got a lot of grip, so he can just turn in really late into the corner and still manage to keep it stuck into the corner. But I think most of it's about the defensive work. As you can see there, he just doesn't really go to that left hand side at all. He knows that he's going to have to defend, so Jobe is right there. You can see, I think you could just see a flash of Will going through there as well. Will is definitely speeding up towards the back end of Jobe and Ben, which we'll see what happens, because yeah, there's definitely traffic about 2, 3, 4 seconds, probably about 2 or 3 seconds just up the road from Ben here. You can see on his screen, I think that is James and Will's dad battling it out for 6th position there. Both of them battling it out, and they'll be most likely getting in the way. As you can see, Will's dad looking around and seeing Ben, and Ben just have a quick glance over his shoulder there to see whether Jobe's there, and Ben pretty much caught them, you could say the best part of the track, because they've only got one corner here and he should be able to just dispatch of them down the straight here. So he's looking to the inside of Will's dad, but Will's dad managed to get just enough speed off the corner to get that done. And I was having a pretty boring race, so I ended up just sort of watching their battle as it went on. I was just hoping maybe I could get them, but there's Ben going down the inside of Will's dad there. He's moved past him, that's now lapped him. Now next up for Ben is James, so we'll see what happens here. James is very fast in the straight line, and if you remember back to, I think it was the 5th round, is it the 5th round? I can't remember which was the round that they did. No, it was the 4th round where James first came into the championship. He was quite slow, and then very big improvement. So everyone's very slow in their first event, so Ben was, I was, Will was, everyone was, so definitely a big improvement from James. And I think honestly here it's going to be hard for Ben to get past, because James is fast in a straight line. For a couple of corners he's slower substantially, but apart from that, it's quite close between Ben and James. It's just really some of the corner you can see there. Ben has messed it up. He's looking over his right shoulder there to check if Jobe is going down the inside, which he hasn't. And now he's still got stuck up behind James here. I think, yeah, he's doubly checking here. Is Jobe there? Is Jobe there? So he's just gone ultra defensive up to the top hairpin. He's going to try and go on the outside of James, which hasn't worked out for him. He hasn't been attacked by Jobe there, which I would have expected. Maybe Jobe wasn't quite there, so you can see Ben definitely knows that there's an attack coming here, because he's looking over his shoulder half the time now, and he knows that someone is right behind him, and he's made a mistake there. Is that the mistake that's cost him the lead? No, there isn't. There isn't Jobe there. We might have expected it, but Jobe maybe didn't have enough speed there, and now Ben a little bit more momentum down the straight. He's gone into the slipstream. James defending, as he is right to do so, because there's no blue flags in the series. And oh, there we are. There's the position lost. Is it? Oh no, they're side by side. Jobe and Ben. Ben shaking his head. He knows he's lost the position and the lead of the race now, so that is not good for him. So now he's going to try and hunt down Jobe and try and get past him again. So there we are. Jobe looking down the inside. Nope, he's not going to get done straight away. That would have been really bad for Ben if Jobe managed to get through straight away. But Jobe is a lot more aggressive in his driving style in comparison to Ben. So overtaking definitely better for Jobe, but defending wise, Ben is definitely the better driver. So two very different drivers here. As James makes a mistake, gets squeezed out wide. Ben makes a mistake as he tries to get around him, and now Ben must be absolutely fuming seeing Jobe go past. And who's that coming up the inside? I think it's Will. There's a yellow flag out there. So silly to have the yellow flag out there. It's just, they didn't need to do anything there. They could have just left the tyres there. And the fact that they put the yellow flag out in such a dangerous place, Ben didn't see it until the last minute, as he was in the battle going side by side. So here we are, James and Will going at it now, and Will managed to get down the inside there, and Ben must be absolutely fuming. He gets him caught up in sort of an accident in a way. He sort of had to go onto the grass because he hit the bump in the track, and he was sort of out of control of the car, which meant that he was all over the place, and it looked like he was being dangerous in a yellow flag zone, which I don't think was the case. He was just, I think Will technically could have been seen to overtake under a yellow flag there, as Will's dad sort of chops me off there. Will's dad lost a huge amount of time to James, and Ben's managed to get past James finally after about 5 minutes of trying. He's finally managed to get back past James there, which I think if Ben looks back at this race, he'll realise that was the defining moment of how he lost so much time, was all down to not making a decisive move on James. Not that James really left any opportunities to easily get past, but Ben maybe could have been a slight bit more decisive in his overtake, and probably what cost him the lead at the end of the day, and now down in third place. So he won't be too disappointed with a third, but when he knew he could win the race, it's a big disappointment. If you finish third and you couldn't have won the race, it's you're pretty happy. I mean, it's still third, it's some decent points. But if you finish third and you could have won the race, that's when it's disappointing. As Ben comes up to the start finish line there, you saw he was shaking his head. Will had a slight attack on Jobe right at the end there, but yeah, Ben's shaking his head. He's very disappointed. I think any of us in that situation would be very disappointed, getting stuck up behind a lapped car and just couldn't get it through. And you can hear Ben not very happy about the yellow flags as we catch up to the back of them here on my side of the screen. If you didn't know, guys, you can also watch these videos without any commentary over on my channel, AlexZAfRo Live, which is always linked down in the description, so you can always check that if you want to. But anyway, let's go and have a look at the results here as we all slow down as they put us into an order. So there we are. Jobe wins the second race, or wins his second race I should say. Will gets second, Ben third, I'm fourth, my dad finishes fifth, James finishes sixth, and Will's dad finishes up in 7th position. So yeah, a pretty crazy first race. Lots of action at the start, some action at the end there as Ben getting stuck up behind some lap traffic, and here we are with race number 2, a full reverse grid from that first race. So that means Will's dad starts on pole. In second position is James, in third position is my dad, and fourth position is me. So finished fourth, starting fourth. So I'm just sort of hoping here to possibly get onto the podium. I know that the three people behind me are extremely fast: Jobe, Will, and obviously Ben, all very fast. All three of them, I should say, had a chance of winning that race last time out. Will doing an amazing job to actually end up battling with them after having such a bad start. Lights are out and away we go. I'm seeing that Will's getting a pretty decent start. Oh, sorry, that's Ben seeing that Will's got a pretty decent start. And now I'm looking here, like you look on there, I look there, then I move there, and then I realise Ben's there. I think Ben thought that I just turned in on him at the last second there, which obviously wasn't the case. When I looked, I didn't see him there the first time I looked, but the second time I looked, I actually saw him there, so I sort of had to go a little bit wider into the corner. So that was unfortunate, but straight up the start there, making a slight mistake, running over the sort of cobbly part on the outside, which wasn't too good, and trying to run around the outside of Will's dad here. Am I going to get it done? No, I'm not, and Ben is right behind me here. I'm going to have to go ultra defensive. I don't want to be losing this position, so I'm going on the defence. Ben trying to look around the outside. I'm going to brake later and manage to get into the corner just about, nearly managing to get past Will's dad as well. But James currently leads the race after a great start, and it's great battles all the way down the order. It's actually very close. From first to sixth, it's very close. My dad actually lost a lot of time on that start, so he's currently down in 7th. Will's dad got very sideways there, so I'm right on the back of him. I know I haven't got very good straight line speed, so I'm just trying to gain any tenth of a second I possibly can. You can see they're just cutting the corner a little bit finer there, and you can see the straight line speed is just horrendous. So I'm going to try and move down the inside. Will's dad trying to go around the outside of James, but I managed to get the move done. Ooh, that's a bit of contact there. You can see Ben actually shaking his head. Ben actually commenting after in the race that he wasn't very happy with Will's dad's driving standards, but I'll let them settle that out between themselves. But yeah, obviously Will's dad first time in the championship, so he doesn't really know how everyone else races, so maybe been a little bit more aggressive than everyone else, trying to get the positions when he can. So you know, everyone has their own style of driving, and I don't have any opinion on that. As long as no one like purposely takes people out, I don't mind. It's just how people race at the end of the day. So you can see there, moved up to second, Ben up to third, after managing to get past Will's dad there, which is good for him. So the current top 4. First is James leading the race, then it's me in second, Ben in third, and Will's dad, I think, is currently in 4th, unless Will has got past him there. But here we are. There's a bit of a gap between me and Ben's opened up here, probably about half second, but by the end of the straight it'll probably be absolutely nothing. As you can see, my straight line speed is so bad. Turning into the corner though, I managed to get side by side with James, but don't quite get enough speed to get the cut back, and Ben makes a mistake, dropping him from 3rd to 5th. Will's dad still up there, he's ahead of Will still, so that's Will's dad up to 3rd, Will up to 4th, and the whole front 4 are really close there. Will and Will's dad always been pushed over the curb there. That can't have been too comfortable, and Will's dad nearly trying to squeeze out Will, so it's really close, and I'm trying to get alongside James, but I can't quite get that done. And now I'm going to try and get a move down the inside of James. No, oh yes, because he's gone slightly wide, and I've managed to get the move done. James lost a little bit of momentum as I sort of cut him up there. I didn't really realise, but Will and Will's dad going side by side. All this contact, he's going over the sort of the stony bit on the outside, and Ben managing to get around the outside there. And Ben's moved himself back up into P4, so that's a bit of a moment for Will there, going over the sort of the stony part of the track on the outside that can't be comfortable whatsoever. And now Ben going up to the top hairpin. Is he going to be looking for a move down the inside of Will's dad? Ooh, James gets to move down the inside of me, and there's crash, there's a contact. Will's dad hits into me, and even more contact as Will's dad hits James. Very close stuff here as Ben tries to go around the outside of James, and it's just so close here. And I'm somehow back up into the lead after nearly getting taken out by Will's dad. So crazy stuff here. I was looking around and I was wondering, how much of a gap have I got? Have I got a gap at all? And James going defensive, so where's Ben going to be looking? He's had to lift off the brakes there. He's got to lift off a little bit there. Will's going down the inside of Ben here, and Will gets the move done up to 4th, or does he? Because Ben comes back on the attack, squeezes him out. Ben's back up into 4th, and you can see on my side of the screen, or you can see on Ben's side of the screen, but Will's dad definitely catching me back up again here. My lack of straight line speed is definitely hurting me here, and I'm going to have to try and defend on the inside. Up the straight. Am I going to go defensive? Yes, I am, because I have absolutely no straight line speed. Will's dad trying to go around the outside here, and he makes it done. Oh, I sort of really locked up the brakes there because I got sideways in the middle of the corner, which wasn't good whatsoever. Will's dad back up into the lead of the race. James still in 3rd, defending off Ben. And exactly the same problem Ben's having in both races. He's got stuck behind James, and he cannot get the move done. So that's just unfortunate for Ben, until James makes a slight mistake there, and is Will going to be coming up the inside of us? No, he's not. And I try and overtake Will's dad there, but that's just not going to happen, especially in the straight line now. I'm just going to lose speed. James is definitely holding up Ben now, as the gap really has opened up between me and James, probably nearing the 2-second mark now. and I'm really trying to keep it on the back of Will's dad to try and get past him. He makes a small mistake. My car isn't really responding how I want it to. The steering is not too good at this stage of the race, because obviously 2 races now, everything's warmed up, but the steering just still not feeling very good. And that was a problem that sort of I had through race 1 as well. So Ben definitely looking on the attack here. He's looking one way, looking the other way to try and get past James. Is Will looking to our outside? I think he well could be here, but Ben trying to get a move on James. Is he going to get it done? They're going to try and go side by side. Can't get it done. Ben is really struggling here to try and get around James. He's going to look to the inside, or he's trying to look to the inside, but there just isn't a gap here. I'm trying to do the same on my side of the screen as Ben goes wide. Will's going side by side here. They're going up to the fast right-hander, also known as turn 1, and Will's got the move done. He's up into P4. Is he going to... Oh, straight line speed advantage Ben's slightly got here. Is he going to try and go around the outside? Yes, he has. He's braked very late. Slight mistake on the brakes there, but he gets back down the inside. This side by side again as Will managed to get up the inside. And they're still running side by side. Ben goes down the inside once again, but slows up a little bit there. I think he took a bit too of a tight line through that corner. It really meant his speed through the corner was too slow. And you can see on my side of the screen, Will's dad definitely pulling away. It's probably about 0.8, 0.9, it's nearly up probably a second, probably even is up to a second by the end of the straight, the gap between me and Will's dad. Now James is going to be a tough person to overtake here. He's currently sitting in 3rd. Be a great finish for him after some very good results in the last couple of rounds, but he just needs to get that good result. I mean, everyone needs to just get that, you know, for example Harry just needs to get that win, and then he can get back, you know, onto target. So that's what he wants to be doing. Oh, James and Will going side by side here. There's a yellow flag, so who was in front? By the looks of it, it's Will. Otherwise he wouldn't have sped off there. But yeah, Will's up to 3rd. James down to 4th. And Ben still sitting there in P5. So, very interesting race so far. Lots of action. Jobe, if you're wondering, has actually had a moment behind us, because you'd have expected him to be battling with Ben, but Jobe actually spun it and he got stuck on the curb, so the marshals had to go up and help him, so that's why he dropped back so much. And we're sort of about the 2/3 mark of the race, I'd say. Oh, as Ben really tries to go around the outside of James there, doesn't get it done whatsoever, makes a big mistake really, loses quite a bit of time. And you can see I've definitely closed the gap to Will's dad. He's really on the defensive now. Closed the gap over the last 2-3 laps. It was up to about that second, as I said, but it's closed down to quite a lot less now, probably about 0.3. As we go around the top corner, I gain my speed a little bit back. So yeah, it's really just that straight line speed that was hampering me through this whole you know, race weekend, if you will, because I just didn't have that speed to defend from people down the straight. I just had to be ultra late on the brakes. But being slow in a straight line is not as bad as defending as attacking, because you just cannot attack people whatsoever. You can't get past them unless you are like literally just like pushing them down the straight, if you will, right under their, you know, if you get a really good run out of the last corner, that's pretty much your only chance if you've got a slow car in a straight line. Otherwise it's just really tough. As Ben's trying to look to the move on James, trying to go on the outside here, but James is doing a really good job at just defending every way that Ben looks. So everyone's looking for overtakes here. Will has cruised up to the back of me and his dad, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see who gets the win out of this one. Will's dad, obviously his first weekend of the championship, can he grab a win? That'd be pretty impressive, wouldn't it? Obviously Will's done quite a few of the weekends, and obviously me doing all of them so far. But Ben still behind James. He just can't find a way past. He's looking to the outside every single time. It's just not working out for him. So maybe he's going to have to, you know, plan something else. Maybe he's going to have to find another part of the track where he's faster. But really, the best part of the track for him to overtake is up at the hairpin, and he just can't get the run. He's got a much better run through his. He looks to the inside of James. Is he going to get him? Oh, has he run over the curb a little bit here, James? Is he going to be able to manage? Oh, James just about manages to cut him off there. Very close stuff. A little bit close, but very fair from James, managing to give the room, but still keeping P4, which would be great for James. That would be 8 solid points that help him in his championship hunt at the moment. Obviously, he won't be going for the championship. I think it's mathematically impossible. He will now, but he's going to be looking for every point he possibly can. So now James looking to just pick up this P4 as best he can, as I think we're going to see Will on the attack on me now. I think either this lap or the next lap where he's right behind me, and I'm like, oh no, this is it. I've lost this. I've lost my chance at P2 as Ben goes down the inside. He gets the move done finally on James. He finally gets that manoeuvre done, which promotes him up to P4. He immediately knows his chance of getting thirds over. He wasted too much time getting stuck up behind James, but P4 is pretty much secure from him now. P5, or sorry, P6 would have been behind James now, would be my dad, Jobe, spun down to last. And that was it. That was the end of the race. Will tried to come on the attack. I don't think we actually saw it on my screen. I thought we did, but we obviously didn't. He tried to get down the outside of me, but I managed to just about brake late enough to get that, not lose that position. Sorry. So a great race. Will's dad getting the win, and 15 points that comes with it. So a very interesting weekend. I'll tell you what, the maximum score from this weekend was 23, and when we say the normal max score is 32, I think that says a lot, because for example, Jobe came first and last, Will's dad came first and last, so it's a very up and down weekend for everyone. There's the top 7. Well, that's everyone that finished. So yeah, Will's dad getting the win, I'm second, Will's third, Ben's fourth, James, my dad, and then Jobe rounding up the field in 7th. And then we'll look at the championship standings right here. I'm leading on 211 points, and my dad is on 133, then Jobe on 123, then Ben on 119, Will on 106, then Tom on 86, Harry on 71, James on 40, Will's dad on 20, and then Ryan sitting there in last place at the moment on 10th place with 10 points. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And until the next one in about a month's time, it's been Alex, I'm out of here. Goodbye.